What is going on, guys? It's Saturn Reaper here, and as you guys can tell by the title, this is kind of a competitive AMA recap. AMA stands for Ask Me Anything. Now, there's a couple of epic devs who decided that, hey, we're going to hop into the Fortnite competitive subreddit and answer a bunch of you guys' questions. Now, before this video gets started, I want to make sure that I address the issue of why does this matter to you guys? So, a lot of you guys might not even care about the competitive scene. I'm sure there's a lot of people who are going to look at this video, look at the title, and be like, that doesn't really matter to me. I'm not going to watch it. But a lot of these competitive changes and future competitive things actually apply a lot to the normal BR. They don't really make any changes to the competitive side of things that don't affect the BR other than Siphon. Pretty much is the major thing and the mat cap. So any general items are going to be in effect for the BR as well in the Battle Royale mode. So you guys should pretty much pay attention to the competitive side just as much as the Battle Royale side. So anyways, without further ado, let's get into our questions here. I kind of pulled apart each question, so I think it's better to just kind of run through the questions I want to say without spending too much time on each one, because I know that there's a very distinct answer, but I also do want to give a little bit of feedback in there as well. So first things first, has a competitive 2v2 mode or even a 1v1 or larger ever been considered? The building mechanic in this game is incredible and feels like it should not be confined exclusively to the Battle Royale genre. For competitive, I'm not asking for something specific. It could be made with a CS-like buy system, COD-like loadout system, Halo-like weapons on map system, TF-like, which is Titanfall, I believe, class system or whatever. I and many just love the mechanic, would love to see it on a non-Battle Royale setting. In the reply to this list, we are definitely considering all kinds of possibilities when it comes to alternate competitive modes outside of Battle Royale. We have plans to continue to expand creative modes so players can create their own favorite versions of Fortnite. We will be closely monitoring these community-created competitive modes as the tools for creative mode expand, and will officially support some of the more popular ones that pop up over time. So pretty much what they're saying is they're going to actually monitor a lot of the creative builds that are coming up in the future that may be a little bit competitive that people may want to see. So maybe it'll be like a little bit of fodder, kind of filler in between, big tournaments. Maybe they'll throw on like, a Storm Wars game with a couple of different pros or maybe like, content creators. And that'd be cool. I think it'll be a really cool concept. So definitely something that they have on their radar. Moving on to our next question here. Will FOV see a reconsideration? Now, the FOV means field of view. If you guys don't know that, currently Fortnite's FOV is set to 80. That's why usually, as you guys can see in the gameplay in the background, sometimes you can't see your feet. Obviously, most of the times you can in some instances, but for the most part, you literally can't see your feet and you can only see so much in front of you. They took away the ability to use stretch res because they felt like it took away from the actual experience of viewing and made the game not look as good as it possibly could, which means that a lot of players had to revert back to native res, and native res is what they use for all their tournaments. FOV, in turn, is a way to kind of expand the field of view while keeping everything looking kind of in a native form. So changing it from 80 to 100 is a very simple change. It happens when you hop onto vehicles, when you hop onto drift boards and stuff like that. But unfortunately, Epic's response here kind of isn't what we've been looking for. So we have no plans to implement an FOV slider. One of our goals for competitive Fortnite is to support players in the journey to be able to become stars and build their own audiences around awesome performances and personas. Part of that goal means listening to the desires of their viewers and stepping in when necessary. In this case, players were indicating they felt required to play with stretch resolution or increased FOV in order to remain competitive, and fans said that it was a negative experience to watch. Personally, I don't know where the negative part comes in. I think that that's a lie on their part. I'm not going to lie, but I do understand that, players did feel like they need to use stretch to be good players. And that's pretty much what happened with Ninja. He never really used stretch. And then as soon as he started getting into competitive, he's like, oh, everyone's using stretch. This actually gives you a competitive advantage. Then I'm going to start using stretch. And I think that's when Epic kind of took notice to that. So moving forward, obviously we have quite a few questions to cover here. So any plans on removing the boom bow? I'm pretty sure it promotes unhealthy aggression and requires such less skill than snipers. I don't like dying to it, but it's okay if I die to snipers. Also, it's great, isn't great for competitive for the competitive point of view. Sorry. There are balance adjustments coming in v9.20 update. We'll be continuing to evaluate after these changes are made. So pretty much what that says there is that we're going to see in the update that is most likely coming out on Thursday, I guess, because there's no announcement tonight and there hasn't been an announcement yesterday for a Tuesday update. So it means it's going to get pushed to Wednesday, which means it's not going to come out until Thursday. They're going to announce it no matter what. So expect a Thursday update this week, I'm assuming. Moving on to our next question. So far, all we've had is solos and duos tournament, probably due to the servers. Are there any plans for competitive trios or squads in the future? Which we actually did have leaks, so we know that this is coming. And the answer is absolutely yes, it will be coming very, very soon. Then our next question is, would you guys ever consider adaptive chests that drop different loot depending on what items the player has already looted, seen from previous chests in that game? I really like this concept. Or perhaps adaptive floor loot, so that the floor loot in a single house won't be all the same weapon, item, or type. We considered this early on, which is actually really interesting to see, but decided against it. The main downside being, if your opponent gets a powerful weapon because he hasn't had one recently, that's an unfair experience for you. But we regularly revisit these kinds of questions to make sure our thinking is still up to date. A lot of people contested this by saying, hey, when we get like 3 snipers and then, the guy who opens the chest next to you gets a gold scar and a rift and minis or whatever, or a gold scar and, half pot, then, how's that a fair advantage? So that was an interesting question and an interesting answer, but I definitely think that that's something that you really readdress and look at potentially, because it does become an issue. Moving forward, have you guys considered changing the format of the 1 million weekly tournament after the World Cup, like hosting customs for top 100 of each region? We're locked into the format for the online opens, so this pretty much means that we can talk about as much as we want to, but for online opens, it's going to stay exactly the way it is, which personally, I don't like online opens. I haven't seen, good players who deserve to qualify, good players who have qualified before, who have done really well at big tournaments. I think those people deserve a spot at the tournaments, but that's just my personal opinion. But we've definitely talked about possibly extending another round of the tournament with the top 100 or 500-ish players needs to solve some of the matchmaking challenges around automating that. So that's actually a really good answer. So then this one comes with 3 questions. What improvements are you making to the replay system? Are you aware that skipping is currently broken? What new features are you adding to the replay system? So pretty much they just say here in a general sense that, hey, they're going to fix the replay system. It's ever evolving. It's something that they want to keep working on, and something that they also would like to add is the ability to spectate during the World Cup. So while it's happening, you'll be able to watch your favorite players, which is actually a really interesting idea. Moving forward, it seems the shotgun timer issue could easily be resolved by having the timer disabled if the player is holding multiple if the player is holding multiple shotguns, and disabled otherwise. What am I missing here? This is one of the options on the table. It's actively being discussed. So hopefully we do see a removal of the shotgun delay, because it is a pain, especially for the new shotgun, and a lot of these new weapons. They have an animation in between that makes it very difficult to swap, especially already have disadvantages as a console player, and then for PC and competitive scene is a lot different. They need as many seconds as they can to really make those powerful moves that end up winning them games. So moving forward here, I think we only have a few more questions. Next release, we have plans to improve private matchmaking functionality. This is for custom matchmaking. Only allowing the server host to start the match, which is huge. Allowing the server host to see how many players are in queue for the matchmaking key, rather than all players who are in queue for private match in the host region, which is actually really good for people who do customs. If you're doing customs, you will personally be able to start the match yourself, and only you. Obviously, currently customs work in a way that allow anyone who's in the custom to start the custom. Like, it kind of selects a few random people who can, so people sometimes start it early, and it becomes a big pain for everyone. Moving forward, is there going to be any competitive LTMs like competitive solid gold, which I think this is a really cool answer. We're actively working on updates to be able to run LTM tournaments. Solid gold squads will actually be our first LTM tournament, which is super cool. I think that's awesome. Solid gold squads as a tournament is insane, and I think that's going to be really fun to watch as well. So definitely a lot of LTMs that they could use. Blitz would be an amazing competitive LTM, because I think Blitz had an increased farming rate. I think the weapon spawns were just a little bit better in terms of the field of weapons and the better weapons that you could get pretty quickly. So I think that mode would be awesome. Even if they did like a Blitz solid, no, maybe not Blitz solid gold. I thought in my mind that made sense, but I don't think that's the best idea. So moving forward, okay, so it says here, this is a reply to that previous question about the online qualifiers. And it says, Winter Royale finals were a massive manual undertaking that involved getting 200 plus players into a Discord server within a week, and then coordinating those players getting into a custom matchmaking together. It was a real scramble. We thought it went pretty well, but need some automated solution that we can run more tournaments regularly in all of our server regions. So pretty much what they're saying is Winter Royale shouldn't have actually happened, but it did some way, somehow, and it was actually one of their most successful events to watch, and honestly one of my favorite events to watch out of the last couple of big tournaments. And now what they're saying is they need to find some sort of system that really allows them to operate this on a not a manual level, so that they are able to operate these across regions more efficiently, so without having to coordinate between a lot of different players, without having players missing queues and stuff like that. So moving forward, why are there 5 snipers in the game? This question came up recently as well. I think in one of my gameplays I said that. Maybe not. I'm not sure. Maybe it was a gameplay that I didn't actually post. But that question has me running in circles. Why is there a hunting rifle a semi-auto sniper, a silent sniper, a heavy sniper, and then I'm missing one more useless sniper that no one actually uses in the game. And the answer to this is we're actively looking at this. The main reason being that each one provides a somewhat different role, but we agree it's probably a little higher than we'd like it. The semi-auto sniper should have never returned to the game. It's not good. It's not a good weapon at all. My issue with this response is that it suggests, in my opinion, that they're about to get rid of the freaking heavy sniper, which is complained about. A lot of people are like, oh, it does 150 damage. Like, it's way too powerful. But the power weapons in this game need to stay. Like, there's only just a few of them. RPG and the heavy sniper are really the only big top tier power weapons. Kind of grenade launchers kind of fit in that area, but not really. Boombo definitely fits in that area in terms of a power weapon. And if they get rid of the heavy sniper, I'm gonna be bewildered because I don't understand why the semi-auto sniper deserves a spot over the heavy sniper, or why the silent sniper deserves a spot over the heavy snipers. That doesn't, in my opinion, make sense. But I don't know. We'll see what they do in V9.20. I think we'll definitely see this change happen. So that's it. That's all the questions that I have. I know that's a lot of information. Again, I just wanted to make sure you guys understood that, the reason to care is that these changes are going to be across the board. So Boombo changes are going to be across the board. Changes for, snipers across the board. Changes for replays across the board. So those are things that are going to be coming to the game that you guys should be aware of. Changes for LTM tournaments. People who are really good at certain LTMs might want to actually hop into these tournaments. If you're really good at one shot, hop into the one shot LTM tournament. That'd be super cool. I personally feel like that I could do pretty well in that one shot LTM tournament, but we'll see what happens in the future. So that's it, guys. That is all I have for you today. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like, sub, share around. Keep it up to date with your 4-bit locations as well. I will leave the playlist at the end of this video, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.